All right, now the people at home can hear me too. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to bring our light from over here to our lights at the candles here. I've been asked to light a few. I'll do that and then read cards and then be able to talk with each of you about what you would like candles lit for, joys or sorrows this morning. I've lit a candle from Elizabeth Thompson, who asked that we light a candle for River Freeman, who's been admitted to the hospital with a moderate case of pneumonia. And she's in the hospital in Cartersville, Georgia, and please feel free to reach out to Elizabeth Thompson via email or text. And also from Elizabeth, and a light for their grandkids who were returning to their parents after being in Georgia and Elizabeth and her friends' care for 3 months. I've lit a candle for the people of Ukraine in recognition of their year at war. Next week the choir will return and they will have the Ukrainian national anthem. Candles that are already lit, one from Barbara Yates for Jimmy Carter, who's in hospice care. And Gypsy Richardson lights a candle for her dear friend Jan Hart, who is now in hospice. Are there others?
Rick and I have a niece, 35 years old, that was just diagnosed with aggressive breast cancer in Columbus, Georgia. Her name is Katie.
I'm sorry for the two of you, for your 35-year-old niece who's been diagnosed with cancer. Yeah.
My sister-in-law, Debbie, is recovering from open heart surgery. It's going well, but it's going to be a while.
Candle for Betty's friend Debbie, sister-in-law Debbie, who's got a long road. Yeah.
I have a joy, a great joy. Lloyd's son and daughter drove down from Maine, and they're staying with us for a few more days. And we did a pre-celebration while they're here of Lloyd's 90th birthday, which is next month.
Very nice. So from Susan, a candle of joy for Lloyd because of the visit of son and daughter-in-law is prelude to Lloyd's 90th next month. Very nice. Good joy.
I'd like a candle, please, for our grandson, Nathaniel, and his partner, Shelby. They're moving from Florida to Asheville next week.
All right. John lights a candle. Remind me again, grandson's name?
Grandson is Nathaniel.
Nathaniel and Shelby, who will be moving to Asheville. Very good. Yeah.
How about a joy for the daffodils?
I am happy to light a candle of joy, Nancy, for the daffodils provided this morning. Yeah, gorgeous. Well, with all of these joys, all of these sorrows, all that we hold in our hearts, we now weave together our community. We're sharing a bit together of our lives, and that makes the love that we bring to this place even more real, and our sense of each other deeper and more meaningful in community. Thank you. I I'll turn now to announcements. Welcome as well. We have visitors here today, and we welcome you. We're glad that you're with us. We hope that you enjoy today. If you don't, next week is better. We have a guest preacher coming. And just glad to have you here in this community. I know that there are power outages in Transylvania County. Maybe some people slept in this morning and can't even watch from home. But I'm glad that we have folks who made it in despite their power being out. We have a scam going on. I don't know if you saw the emails I sent out in Realm starting was it Friday night or whatever it was this week. And it was really good. A member texted me and said, Reverend Bob, I got this really suspicious message that you needed a favor from me. It's like, don't answer those people. This is what happens if you answer those people. You know, hey, please return my text when you get it. I have a favor to ask. And person responds, hey, Reverend Bob, what's up? Oh, glad to hear from you. Currently, I'm in a meeting. Otherwise, I would have called. I need you to get Apple gift cards. Go buy Apple gift cards. And then if the person goes and buy cards, then they say, oh, just send me all the activation codes for your gift cards. And guess what? Somebody gets to live high on the hog with Apple products or selling off Apple products. It doesn't matter which kind of gift card. If I ask you for a favor, it won't be to go to the store for me, to go get stuff. I won't ask you your social security number, your bank account information, or anything like that. You are used to hearing me ask for your money, but that's when we're passing the plate. And you can tell it's me because I'm standing right here. So we know that that's right. We hope that nobody did get caught by the scam, but when I contacted the authorities, they said, hey, the place to go to with this is the North Carolina Department of Justice, the Attorney General's office. And you know what? This happens so much, they have a website specifically set up to say, okay, what's your phone number? What's the phone number of the scammer? What happened here? Did you get scammed? You know, when was it? And then they'll have a record. We know that there was at least one other church, a Catholic church in Minnesota, that was getting texts from the exact same phone number, pretending to be their priest. So they're pretty sophisticated with this. So. All right, so now that we've spent way more time on scammers than they deserve, I'd like to move on to some of our other announcements. We have this Thursday, our organizational meeting. I think there are at least a few of us who have bought this book. There are now 2 copies in the lobby for anybody to grab. This is called Mistakes and Miracles, Congregations on the Road to Multiculturalism by 2 Unitarian Universalists. And so we'll have the organizational meeting 11 o'clock this Thursday. We hope that you will come. If you haven't read the book yet, you want to grab it from the lobby when you go. Check it out. Come see us. Let me know that you want to be part of the discussion. It might help us get started. Unitarian Universalists throughout the continent are reading this book to be able to help us get a little further along with some of our mission and vision. I hope you could do that. I wanted to remind folks that R.K. Young, our administrator, is still in radio silence, having time to spend with family and all of that. And so those of us who are left behind are trying to do the best we can. But if there's something you need, so I know somebody dropped in last week and said, oh, I need this, and we're trying our best to find out how to do things without asking RK. So be patient with us as we do that. Thanks. And RK, if you're watching, you should be doing something better right now, but it's all right. The music that comes next is something that you'll probably want to sing along to. So you have complete permission, should you wish to sing along with our music video, thanks to Janice and Carlene. Please enjoy our Beatles music.
There's nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. Nothing you can make that can't be made. Nothing you can save that can't be saved. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be you in time. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Nothing you can see that isn't shown. Nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. All you need is love.
Love is our birthright. It governs the rhythms of the oceans, the forest, the deserts, and all the beautiful creatures that dwell in them. It is the benevolent, universal force that gives life to us all and which we can all access and benefit from. Love is not a fancy, emotive ornament used for sentimental indulgence. It's a biological need that is critical to our survival. Many studies have shown that if newborn babies do not receive sufficient human touch, they can die even if all their physical needs are met. Also, people living solitary lifestyles or those who have troubled relationships tend to have significantly lower lifespans. We are social creatures, wired for bonding and interacting with others. The experience of love is meant to help us grow and evolve into, become better human beings. It's critical that we step out of our self-made islands and seek out meaningful connections. We need to swim away from the shallow end of the emotional pool and submerge ourselves into the depths of it, because that's where the real treasures of life are, and where love can transform us. Come, let us worship together. We will be singing our opening hymn, number 1031, Filled with Loving Kindness. Please stand as you wish.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. Be well. May we be filled and at ease. May we be You may want to remain upright. We skip the moment, or we postpone the moment to now, in which you can turn to one another in a moment of recognizing the divine in each other. In whatever way you symbolize that, bowing to one another, saying hello to and good morning to one another.
As we light this chalice today, let us center ourselves in our hearts where creation itself begins. Let us affirm our love as the key to transformation, both on a personal level and for the world.
The words were, yep, there they are. They're back.
What we said.
There we go. My words for wisdom involve a being of love. Not a human being, but a being of love. I don't know if you believe in beings other than humans being part of our loving family. But oftentimes, we find ourselves embracing something outside of our own human-centered existence. Brandy. Brandy was named later, but when we first met Brandy, we did not know this was Brandy. I was over at my aunt and uncle's house playing with my cousins. My cousins were all, 10 or 12 years younger than me, and the littlest ones at the time, I think, were toddlers. We're in the backyard playing on a sunlit day, and this strange, mangy creature approaches, kind of shyly, keeping its head down and just kind of shivering and looking very afraid. Seeing me and the children and my aunt there, my aunt said, "Should I take the children inside?" Don't know. Don't know why this dog is just standing there shaking. But I had the sense that the dog was just as afraid of us as we might be of the dog, just as concerned. And in my young mind, I decided to say to my aunt, no, this dog isn't going to be trouble. And I gestured to the dog, come on over. And the dog kind of didn't know. But I think what that dog saw was two larger, not adults. I wasn't an adult, but I was a big enough teen, gangly enough. My aunt taking care of little children, and decided that it was safe to approach so long as she was not seen as a threat. It turns out, best as we could make out, that Brandy had been dumped at the end of the dead-end road at the highway, or maybe on the interstate itself. And Brandy had found her way to the first house in which there was evidence of life. Hungry, thirsty, and desperately needing love. As near as we could make out, Brandy was something still of a puppy, not that old. Don't know what happened to Brandy before that. How many of us wonder in life, where did the people we love come from? Where do the beings we love come from? What was their life like? And I can only imagine how horrible it must have been to be torn away from a litter, from a family of some sort, and to be abandoned. Brandy, by approaching that time with us, that family became the first dog that my cousins ever had. Just showed up, decided that we might be safe, and gave infinite love and protection. That dog would bark at anything or anybody who would come on that property, because that property was only for my cousins and my aunt and uncle. That dog would run and grab mittens, jump around in the snow, until it was time that the dog died. We put beings into our photo albums, our memories. I like to say that human beings are mammals. And a lot of mammals recognize within us the ability to connect and the need to nurture one another, to rely on one another, for we will not survive without one another. We learn that. And we also know that the same thing that happened to Brandy happens to human beings. Maybe not so much thrown out at the side of a highway, but there are times in our lives in which we feel we've been kicked out, turned away, and need to find some caring circle, someplace where we know we belong. It's our message this morning. Shall we sing you out, Carrie, to your empty classroom? Thank you, Carrie, for coming in on a power outage day at your home. I guess we'll skip singing the children out. Yeah. And you can stay in the service, right? Do you want to invite Luke back in here too, or is Luke hanging out in nursery? I think so. Yeah, all right. Our other helper. Thanks for listening to the story of Brandy. I don't know that I've ever told a congregation about Brandy before. Yeah. We do a lot of good in congregations and churches. We become the family of adoption for so many folks. Folks who have been elsewhere and found that whatever was there that sustained them when they were younger no longer does what they need. We are a place of a lot of what I would call come-outers, who've come out of different traditions, different religions, different backgrounds, different households, different cultures, different walks of life. We have come out of something and into this community. And recognizing the gratitude of this place existing, we ask that you give generously. Some of you will have received your pledge packet in the mail or will any day now. But even if you take care of your pledge online, the baskets that are passed give a little bit more and give you the chance to do that piece, that ritual of I give. Within the basket there are envelopes you can slide in a special donation for Bread of Life. Got it right this week. Bread of Life, our soup kitchen just around the corner here for Transylvania County. We don't just give to ourselves, but we provide to others as well. We will now gratefully receive the morning offering. Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Gypsy. What is given in love, we receive with great joy, and we say, thank you. I invite you to join with me in this time of prayer and meditation in whatever way it helps you to gather into this moment, to relax, to breathe, to settle in. Spirit of love and life, we who are gathered here in this warmth of community, in the bright beauty of these flowers, in the glow of these candles of our sorrows, our hopes, our joys, we who are gathered here recognize the divinity in one another, hope for a love that encircles us, and know that we have a place to belong. Spirit of love and life, our hearts go out to those who are suffering, who have long, hard treatments in front of them, or a journey after this life closes. May they not feel alone. May they know the love of each of us reaching out. Let us remember as well the love of those who have helped us transform our lives, who said just the right thing, found just the right moment, or blundered into some sort of apology in a way that helped us understand the fragility and miracle of relationships that help us see the worth and dignity of each of us. These, the prayers of our hearts and the thoughts of our minds, we now hold in this silence. In the names of all those known and unknown, remembered and forgotten, in the names of all the helpers of humankind, amen. Blessed be. I think you might want to sing along to the next Beatles video too.
Oh
The reading for this morning is from Mark Nepo. It's from his book, The Exquisite Risk, Daring to Live an Authentic Life. For those of you who have that book and want to look, it's on page 212, if you like those kind of footnotes. All I can say is that it can be painful or sweet, but this is the nature of transformation. Some moment or circumstance becomes an unexpected doorway to the mystery. We never know how it will appear or how we will be drawn into it. It could be through the sinking feeling that comes from a letter never answered, the one in which you declared your love in such a desperate way, admitting to everything. Or when the shell you brought all the way from the Philippines is dropped by some loud stranger you never wanted to show it to in the first place. It could all unravel the moment the shell shatters on your hardwood floor. Or quite simply, on a summer bench, your eyes closed, when the sun seems to vanish, the heat gone, the bees begin to fly, and in that moment, you're suddenly not sure where all this hard work has taken you. It could happen anywhere that you linger too long, anywhere you stop hauling and counting, anywhere your mind spills its tangle of agendas. Often it comes with the relaxation of great pain. When the hip finally mends enough to step, that step opens the world. Or it could be waiting in the moment your strength of ambition is broken by seeing a bird run over in a soundless turn. Or when watching trees slip into winter before you're ready. And though I can't explain its comings and goings, I just know that when I feel I could crumble and all my pain feels like salt waiting for a wave, I'm close. We are close. When the elements in all their fury reshape our weary eyes, it's God's kiss, gentle as erosion, outlasting the 10,000 schemes. At the heart of it, this being opened unexpectedly into the unity of things is a nameless ritual. And how we respond to these openings determines whether we feel a part of something or a part of nothing. This being the last sermon I'll be doing on the theme, the Soul Matters theme on love, I thought, what is it I haven't really touched on yet? I decided I hadn't given you a cookbook, a recipe, a little plan. What does it take? What are the pieces that go together for love and transformation? Actually, I think love is one of the key elements of what leads to transformation. And so I'll weave together some of Mark Nepo's reading or the opening words by Celine Chenoy that Janice Cannon had adapted for our opening of our worship, and the story of Brandy the dog. I'll weave this together in a way that may make some sense and remind us once again the recipes for becoming. I understand that the song, Because, the Beatles song, has some history to it. According to Lennon, the song's close musical resemblance to the first movement of Ludwig van Beethoven's Midnight Sonata was not a coincidence. Did you notice that? I didn't notice that till I read Wikipedia. It said, Yoko was playing Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata on the piano, and I said, "Can you play those chords backwards?" And wrote because around them. In that mix of things that is in that very eerie song, to me eerie, and sometimes you get things backwards, they sound kind of eerie. Love is old, love is new, love is all, love is you. Maybe not as popular in some ways as the first song that we heard from the Beatles. Love, 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 all you need is love. And that's been in movies and on the radio. I'm not sure that love is all and all you need is love. But I cannot believe for an instant that we can be authentically ourselves without love. We can survive, just to some extent. But like a dog turned out to the side of the road abandoned, we have an orientation to find ourselves in connection with others. Those of you who are living through grief, breakups, who have moved away and are homesick, know the pang that is there for what's being missed. I don't know how many of you parents got to the point in which your child was finished with high school and going off to whatever was next, going into the service, going off to college, getting a job, moving into an apartment of their own, and you come to the point in which it's like, yes, they're out of the house. Because if they're doing adolescence right, as a Western mammalian being, they have bitten your ears a little too hard, stomped all over your precious items, knocked that shell off the shelf to shatter on the floor, or done any number of things in which they have signaled that it's time for them. If they do not get out of this nest, you're going to push them out. But there's still, even if you have worked forever to help them so that they did their college applications and they're out there and they're doing what they should be doing, there's this pang and there's this worry. Where will they land? Who will be their people? And the emptiness of walking past the room that they inhabited all the time, playing their music too loudly, or never coming out of there. Whatever it may have been, it's empty and quiet. Why is it that we mammals end up crying at the goodbyes as they start out on their trip off to college, or just as you've unloaded their boxes or brought them to basic training camp, or whatever it might be? Why is it we break into tears when this is what we have been trying to get to? I think it's because we need one another, and we know that. We recognize that in each one of us. So many of our things in life, when we have a moment to decide what's most important to us, all of our plans, what was it the reading said? It could happen anywhere that you linger too long, anywhere you stop hauling and counting, anywhere your mind spills its tangle of agendas. A moment in which at the root of it we recognize the need of connection and love. Wow. It doesn't really matter what we have acquired in life. Only the attachments Have you ever met somebody who brought out a side of you that had never been brought out before? Among the questions in this week's packet is one that asks that. Who? Try to bring up to your mind's eye. Who brought you the sense of who you were in a way that you'd never felt that before? Opened it up. Recognized something. You know, I think of some of the people that I admired when I was young. Some folks put up posters of their favorite celebrities or sports figures, or I didn't put Gandhi up there, but you know, maybe somebody that you looked up to. And I've always been told that if you get down to it, if you find that you're admiring something in someone, it's a piece of you that is wanting to be discovered. How is that? Oh, I see in that person something. But it comes from a yearning of something inside that wants you to recognize yourself in that. Now, maybe not. I've never been the one who could have been the home run hitter. I just barely managed to hit the ball once every 5 times in neighborhood playgroups. And then only if the people pitching to me knew exactly the pitch I needed. But there's something that stretched in me when I was asked to participate in the team. There is something that woke in me about being with others, with peers, finding my way. There's some great readings in the wedding booklet that I hand out to folks. And one of them is this, about the special relationship that 2 people find for each other. I love you, not only for what you are, and this is from Roy Croft, by the way. I love you not only for what you are, but for what I am when I am with you. I love you not only for what you have made of yourself, but for what you are making of me. I love you for the part of me that you bring out. I love you for putting your hand into my heaped up heart and passing over all the foolish, weak things that you can't dimly seeing there, for drawing out into the light all the beautiful belongings that no one else had looked quite far enough to find. When you have that kind of relationship, someone who sees something in you and draws it out, the transformation that becomes, what does it go on to say? You're helping me to make of the lumber of my life not a tavern but a temple, of the works of my every day not a reproach but a song. That's powerful recipe for transformation. To find the relationship where that works. Now, that is special. When we've lost it, we know it. But we might end up in relationships that aren't so great. Our packet this month has asked us to reflect on the question, some say the opposite of love is not hate, but indifference. Others say its opposite is fear. What do you say the opposite of love is? You can say that out loud, Jean. Judgment. Yeah, you couldn't help but reach into my heaped up heart and see only the messed up things in there. Judgment. The indifference part. Whoa. How many years of therapy to deal with growing up in a family in which you were ignored, in which nobody came to see you in the school production. Nobody seemed to care. Fear. Man, how can you be your authentic self if you're spending every moment of your life and PTSD when you're not under threat, just trying not to be damaged? A recipe for authenticity needs love. Needs to be in a circle in which you have Brandy the dog barking at every single person, mail person deliveries, package deliveries, ambling other people going by. You have to have somebody in your life who is saying no and keeping danger at bay, imagined or not. You need to have a congregation that says you can be vulnerable here and be open to whatever is needing to arise within you without fear. There's a quote for Anne Morrow Lindbergh that I love. A good relationship has a pattern, like a dance, and it's built on some of the same rules, she says. The partners don't need to hold on tightly because they move confidently in the same pattern. Intricate but gay and swift and free like a country dance of Mozart's. To touch heavily would be to arrest the pattern and freeze the movement, to check the endlessly changing beauty of its unfolding. There's no place here for the possessive clutch or the clinging or the heavy hand, only the barest touch in passing. Now arm in arm, now face to face, now back to back. It does not matter which, because they know they are partners moving to the same rhythm, creating a pattern together and being invisibly nourished by it. The joy of such a pattern is not only the joy of creation or the joy of participation, it's also the joy of living in the moment. Lightness of touch and living in the moment are intertwined. I think it's no wonder that some of us, as we recognize other people, we may consciously or unconsciously recognize that they know something of the dance that we know so intuitively. The ability to move and breathe with one another, to laugh at the same jokes. To lift one another with only the merest raise of an eyebrow. Again, I think of this congregation as a place in which we learn to behave with one another in that way. When the guys were here last week singing barbershop with me, I told them that this congregation isn't all uptight. If we end up having to start over with a song, if we've got the harmonies wrong, and we can go back and start again from the beginning, and people here will be joyous and forgiving, and this is a congregation that laughs, as we all know we have to pick up and start again. The guys were appreciative of that because we really hadn't had all that much time together. Other than in our chorus rehearsals, our small group wasn't quite ready for that dance, for knowing what each person is doing. We had warmed up only a couple of times that week to pull off the songs that we knew individually, but could we do them together? This is the place where we can have, well, your grandkids show up. I'm thinking of Nancy and Ben's Jenna? Yeah, Jenna Claire coming and playing for us at Christmas Eve. Or John, Willow, taking on the part of carrying the light into the Christmas Eve service. No matter how well polished, Jenna Claire, obvious, Willow's presence is a part of us. Even when things go wrong, what is it a movie said? A church is a place where they all want to hear you play, even when you still need some more practice. I'd like to think it's because we've understood the recipe. To be our authentic selves, we have to be with one another, nervously shaking, approaching one another like an abandoned dog. Is this the safe place I hope it is? And being welcomed and embraced. That we get the nourishment of acceptance into our circle. And from that we learn to treat others with interest and curiosity and love. From this, we build the opportunity for authenticity and admiration of the best qualities of one another and ourselves. From this, we build the strength to go out into a world in which there isn't always that opportunity. And from this place, we learn to concentrate on that basis of what we really need to thrive and be authentic rather than what we need to grab with a gimme attitude of greed or empire building. Instead, building a place where mammals just like us make it in the world. Thank you. I invite you, with that mood and spirit, to go out with the song, Just as Long as I Have Breath. You may rise and sing as you're willing and able. You may make a joyful noise in whatever key it comes out of you. We will now, and no judgments. This is hymn number 6, Just as Long as I Have Breath. Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to life. Just as long as vision lasts, I must answer yes to truth. In my dream and in my dark, always that elusive spark. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to truth. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to love. Disappointment pierced me through, still I kept on loving you. If they ask what I did best, tell them I said yes to love. I extinguish our helper candle, and yet we all go out, carrying the light of helpers into this world. I extinguish this, our chalice light, knowing that though this service is ended, your service has just begun. May you go out this week saying yes to love and coming back to this place of love. Amen. Blessed be.